Hello everyone and welcome back to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I'm SheepNDane. Today we're going to be continuing onwards with Sand Bliss Zone. Now this isn't a bad zone by any means. This isn't a Carnival Night zone, but my issue with this zone stressed directly from the fact it's too long. It's so tedious to get through. Now the level design is good, the zone itself is good, the music, I quite like it, it's atmospheric, but the zone itself was way too long for its own good. But anyway, this is basically the obligatory desert level of the game, even though, yeah, now that I think about it, there aren't too many desert levels in Sonic games. I mean, I guess it's, Sand Ocean in Sonic Adventure, there's not many desert levels, come to think of it, in Sonic. It's really interesting. But anyway, as Knuckles, this zone is much more vastly different than Sonic's. Not so much in Act 1, but in Act 2, you'll see the zone really break off into Knuckles' own segment. And actually, from Act 2 of this zone is basically where the game becomes Knuckles' own thing, because I think that's pretty much the turning point where the entire game almost pretty much becomes becomes Knuckles' own major plot, but can't complain. Now, if anyone's wondering about the final boss or the final zone, actually, because you're gonna remember Death Egg Zone, aren't you? Well, Death Egg Zone isn't actually the final zone in Knuckles' story, folks. Believe it or not, I'm not gonna spoil what the final zone is, but it's not Death Egg. In fact, it's a zone that happens pretty much before Death Egg Zone. Actually, way before Death Egg Zone, really, because... yeah, way before Death Egg Zone, because most of the zones I don't really class as zones from this point onwards, because ultimately, there's not much to them. But I'll get into that when I get into that. But there's really not too much to talk about with this level, other than I like the graphics. Music's nice, I guess. It's just a bland level with nothing really to do or talk about. And plus, I've already made an LP in this game, what can I say? Difficulty is ramping up at this point though, folks, because this is probably where the game's going to get slightly trickier. But in the upcoming Zone Lava Reef, I'm going to talk about a bit more in detail. That's basically when Knuckles' story becomes the difficult portion, because right now his storyline is a lot more difficult than it is when playing as Sonic, I'll admit that. Don't even need to really admit that, because it's just a flat out truth. Oh god, oh god, oh god, get out of the sand. But, basically his storyline just ramps up in difficulty really, really quick. And I remember having quite a bit of issues when I was a wee young lad. A wee young lad? What? A wee young lad when I was playing this way back in the day. Trying to get through the game. I used to despise Lava Reef Zone Act 2 with Knuckles. And even now, at this day, I'm not too big a fan of it. Ow! Bloody Scorpio! I think that's the name of those Badniks. I don't know. Some Badniks I tend to completely forget their names just because I don't think they're interesting. Although I like the design, I'm not gonna lie about that. Hell, why would I lie about that? Anyway, one interesting gimmick about this zone though is the fact that, as you can probably tell, all loops have their own unique thing where they'll just spin you out multiple times and shoot you in the air. Why did they decide... ouch. Why did they decide to do that? Oh. Ask SEGA, I don't know. Ask the producer, the producer, he probably knows. Anyway, once we basically get to the end of the level by here in Act 1, you're going to be greeted by this giant pyramid. Now, if anyone's wondering, what? A pyramid? What's the point of this? Well, this is actually the mini-boss, folks. Not the pyramid itself. The pyramid itself is Act 2, but the mini-boss comes out of the pyramid. Now, this guy is... exactly the friggin' same for Sonic and Knuckles' story. So, basically what you're going to want to do is basically run all the way over here, wait for him to jump over here, and then knock him into the sand. I'm not kidding, that's how you do it. So I'm just going to speed things up until I beat this boss, because this is going to take way too long. Alley-oop. Oh, almost in. Alright, turn around. Boom! And that is how you beat the mini-boss, folks. You wait. It's quite tedious, actually. But I can't complain too much, because it's still a pretty fun boss to fight, and... Really? You might as well... I can't say no to an easy boss fight. I mean, I like easy. Easy's my middle name. And then I decided to play something silly like Panzer Dragoon, where I still can't beat that sodding boss fight, which is the reason why that LP hasn't come out yet. That's the reason why part 3, I think I'm on part 3, isn't released yet, because I can't beat the sodding boss fight. Anyway, as you can probably tell, one of the differences from Sonic's story to Knuckles' story is that the ghosts are already released. That's probably obvious because this takes place after Sonic's story, so honestly, you should expect that right now. And to be honest, you get to see more proof in a second that this takes place after Sonic's story, simply because, remember the capsule we broke? That actually unleashed the ghosts into this here temple. That's not really a temple, it's a pyramid. Into this pyramid, well, basically... yeah, that's broke. But for some reason, I always got flashbacks to the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, the old Saturday morning cartoon show that I loved when I was a kid. I used to have a VHS of the movie of it, which was basically 4 episodes just lobbed into one big episode, which was basically an entire story arc about time travel. And I remember the section where they went through this actually, I think this is either in Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog or a different cartoon I'm thinking of. Unless I'm thinking about something completely different. But I remember them going into like a pyramid or something and basically booby traps everywhere. It was pretty interesting. There could have been another episode now that I think about it. I don't know. It's been years since I've seen this series. I might rewatch it one day. But then again, I don't know. It all depends. But enough of my sidetracking. Basically, this pyramid is very long. This is the part... what? Act 1 isn't so bad. To be perfectly honest, Act 1 in the zone isn't that bad, but Act 2 is... ugh. Very tedious and long and... honestly, I hate it. Now, the boss fight for this zone, I'm not going to talk about just yet, but I'll explain him because I don't think I'm going to be able to have super form by the time I fight that boss, because I always lose my hits and all my wings. Jonathan Ross, what the hell? All my rings in some way or another by the time I get to the boss fight, and that I may or may not be able to. It depends, because there's one section whenever I play as Knuckles, the section of the level will always glitch out, and that's probably because I always transform into my super form before I get to that section of the level. It's coming up pretty shortly, actually. But basically, if you speed past half the level, then basically the game will go nuts. It'll say, "No, you can't do this. You broke the Matrix." Bah! And of course, as you know, breaking the Matrix is bad. Basically, this section by here. What you're meant to do is break these sand things and basically go up. Now, I'm waiting for this, even though I'm super form instead of climbing up, because it'll glitch up. And if this section glitches up, good luck getting through it, folks, because... no, because no. That's all I can say. If it glitches, say goodbye, because it's so difficult to get past when it glitches, because the walls become invisible. Everything is... well, to explain what exactly happens, basically, I go past the point where the graphics load, and then I climb up by here. Now, all of this section, if I was playing this when it glitched, I wouldn't be able to see it. It would all be sand. All of this would be sand, and I would probably get crushed out of the blue, because after a while, you'll just die. There won't be any reason or logic behind it. You will just die. So, I'm quite happy that didn't happen in this LP, to be honest. Actually, now that I think about it, it probably did happen in a Sonic playthrough. It's been, like I said, 1 year. 1 year can do a lot with your brain, because obviously you don't remember that much, do you? I have less than 512 mega RAM in my brain. So, and for people who aren't computer savvy, that's not much. Anyway, the only hints I can really give you is to really hit the lights and make sure the ghosts don't really stop you. And try and keep as fast as possible to keep your super form in check. And I did not want to grab that. Grabbing this thing so slow. Yeah. Actually, I'm quite interested to see how this after images will show up on YouTube, because since I've done my new way of recording these old games, basically I don't have much of issues with compression anymore. Like, if I look at other people's LPs of Sonic 3 or something, you'll see this weird glitch where like only one after image will appear and some of the graphics just simply won't show up. And that's mainly due to the frame rate of YouTube and the frame rate the game actually runs at. Now, when I'm capturing this directly off of the Megadrive, for some reason that glitch doesn't occur, so I don't know. Oh, speed! I love having some fastness in my games. Anyway, just jump down here. Now, in Sonic's story, you couldn't go through this wall, and to be honest, in Knuckles' story, you have to go through this wall. So basically, you have to go through all these alternate paths that Knuckles had, that Sonic couldn't go through before. There's no choice for this one. But to get through this section by here, because as you can probably tell, there's pits everywhere, and you basically need to activate this sand thingy, which will add sand everywhere. Now, why do you want to do this? Basically, because you need to push this into the switch. Now, why do you want to push this into the switch? Well, simply because the switch goes so quickly that you won't actually be able to get through the door in time. So you need to push this into the switch to prevent the switch from going back, so the door won't close too quickly for you to go through it. And frustrating. But anyway, that's that done. So let's just quickly activate this thing and leg it, so we can boom. Now, as you get to a certain point, the box will despawn, so the switch will still be. It'll still switch. The door will eventually switch back, so yeah. Anyway, you're gonna want to glide across that, and that jump is so difficult to make. You won't believe how tricky it is to make that jump. Actually, hell, I thought it would be easy. I would have been all like, yeah, jolly good, old chap, whoop whoop. But nope. Anyway, down here is the boss fight. Now, there is one difference between this boss fight and Sonic's version of the boss, and it's actually not that big a deal. What is it? Well, quite simply, it's faster. That's it. That's the only difference. Now, be sure to hit him as much as possible. Now, he will occasionally shoot lasers and stuff at you, but really, boss fight's pathetic. And with that, that has been Sandopolis Zone. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, appreciate a like or comment on the video. I'll catch you all next time in Lava Reef Zone. So, I'll see you all then. Bye!